but you need a beer first. Yeah.
Hello everyone, we're back with day 3 of Tulsa Tough, the Crybaby Hill course. So here we are on start, easily our mellowest countdown of the weekend, and I was struggling so hard on the start of this to get my pedal in, which was immediately becoming an issue as everyone went past me and I was not going to have much momentum for the hill, but I think I finally figured it out, and then we got going, and I was just so excited to come up Crybaby Hill for the first time. So we're about to turn right onto it, and it's just so loud and reeks of beer and weed. Like, it's like there's this bike race that's just interrupting their party they're having all day. And some of them probably don't even know there's a bike race going on. This is the first steep part, and then you turn right, and this is Crybaby Hill proper, and it was like 3 or 4 people deep on both sides. Everyone just so loud. Such a great atmosphere on the hill. People were out there like from 9 a.m. the first races of the day, partying just all day. I think our race might have actually been the loudest. It seemed like everybody was running out of steam by the time the pro racers got on course. But once you go over the top of Crybaby Hill, there's that little descent. It's pretty quick. And then slightly uphill into this right-hand corner, and then this is where there's a bunch of people lined up like spraying water on us, which was much appreciated since it was so hot out. And then through the Red Bull Arch and dropped down this descent into the final corner, which there were some comical crashes if you watch the live feed earlier in the day, but on our first lap somebody went like straight over the barriers. You can see the volunteer running over and the paramedics there, but somebody just like disappeared over the black barriers. I think they were okay because they were coming back in on the free lap on the next lap. But after we come off that descent in the fast right hand corner, this straight is kind of deceptively long and pretty fast. If you could find a wheel that was eager to move up, I was pretty willing to follow, but didn't want to do the work myself. And even watching this video now, I'm super impressed with the size of the crowd down on the start-finish straight. But there's just tons of people out when we came up onto this hill. It was very impressive. So I'll just let you hear how loud it was on the hill on this lap up. Everyone on the hill was also very enthusiastic about giving out beers both during and after the race, which was super fun. My GoPro got probably some beer from the hill on it later in the video. But I was really just in awe of the size and enthusiasm of the crowd for a bike race in the United States. That was kind of wild. So basically the way this course went on every lap was the straight on the bottom was sometimes hard, sometimes easy, but then Crybaby Hill was always like a 500 or 600 watt effort for me for like 30 seconds, and then you got that little bit of descent. There's a little baby climb through that last corner, which really was not a big deal, and then this was like the main descent, and like timing your braking right here so that you could carry more momentum than other guys out helped a lot. It would help eliminate some of the like 800 watt surges that I just did. So the key was to just try and be smooth around the course, which I definitely eased into later in the race. So now we're gonna jump ahead to later in the race at 3 laps to go. And at this point I was just so excited to still be in the field. My goal coming into this was to just finish on the lead lap, not get pulled. And at 3 to go I was like, even if I get dropped, they're not going to lap me, so I should be safe on that front. The race to this point had some like small groups trying to get off the front, like 1 or 2 guys, but every time a little group attacked, it would just kind of like string out the field, and then it seemed like there was people eager to chase, so nothing really got very far away in our field, and it was looking like it was going to come down to a field sprint at this point. But I was hurting a lot. I was just thinking about like getting over this hill a couple more times and staying with the group. I was not really thinking about if I'd have anything left for a sprint at the end, because I'd put so much energy to just making it to this point in the race. I think right around here I looked over my shoulder and realized that I was the last one hanging onto the group, and was like, oh, maybe I should do something about that. But anyways, we're coming through here. The pace wasn't like crazy yet. It still felt like it had been on most of the recent laps. It didn't really like explode until the last lap of the race. There was a much harder effort up the hill that time. So I was a little bit nervous about this last corner coming into the last couple laps, but everything went smoothly. I didn't see any crashes on the last couple laps in our race. So out of the corner, the whole field is pretty much single file at this point. So going kind of fast across this little flat stretch before we hit the hill the last couple times. This is coming under the start finish for 2 to go. So I was pretty stoked we only had to go up the hill 2 more times at this point. I think at the end of this straight it fans out a little bit, and I don't think I even take advantage of it. I was just content with making it around a couple more times. But it didn't seem like there was anyone that was really taking charge on in terms of like setting it up for a teammate or anything for the finish. But it sped back up once we got on the hill. The crowds on the hill were going absolutely nuts. There was a while during the race where there was like a golf cart for the paramedics on the right hand side of the course that I initially thought was like someone had crashed or something, but it turns out they were attending to someone in the crowd on the hill that they couldn't get to, like going off course, because the crowds were so deep going up the hill. So just have this last little kick before we descend. It didn't really feel like much at the start of the race, but by this point, this little uphill section was significantly more noticeable than before. But we're coming to that last descent now into the sharp right-hander. Everyone seems pretty settled on it being a field sprint at this point, but you still had to hold on for 1 more lap up the hill. So everyone threw it again safely, and I think someone just in front of me let a gap open up, but I wasn't really in a position to do much about it, unfortunately. Thankfully, this guy wanted to, so got to follow him up without using too much energy there to get back onto the coat ends of the field, but it didn't matter much for me. Once we hit the hill, I pretty much was done at that point, so just sped up the rest of the last lap here, and you can see everyone just exploding out the back, myself included. I think the moto even came around me right at the end of the lap, but finished on the lead lap, basically the lead group, which was my goal for the day. I was pretty stoked about that. This was such like a war of attrition that my just making it to the last lap was good enough for 21st place, which I was pretty excited about. So thank you for watching, everyone.